I wasn't really interested going into it, to be honest. I mean, for me, I wanted to be buying in here, and I wanted to kind of have my risk and manage around here. And I'm going to show you that I didn't really manage my risk. I kind of let a lot of open P&L come back because I wasn't very disciplined in managing my stop above here. So yeah, like I showed you on the 5 minute, yeah, I mean we got a very kind of sharp move on the IFO, on the miss, on the fall on the IFO, and then yeah, it was a matter of this reaction up here. I mean, I could have scaled. I scaled out a little bit around 24s when we kind of we flicked above the 27s. It was on the second kind of break. Oh, this is a 5 minute. It's on the second kind of retest above here, which was when the price action kind of started to. It was just constantly bids getting clipped, and there was no kind of even though it kind of maybe looked quite aggressive, or that the market was reloading up here. The key was the fact that we weren't getting any kind of initiative above these highs, and we'd broken from so deep and was such a kind of sharp move that this type of move wasn't kind of to have this type of range following afterwards, and this type of reaction wasn't kind of out of the realm of possibility. And this is why you kind of had to kind of know, right, I want to be putting a lot of my size on anywhere, anywhere in this region here within the kind of mid, 50% of this candle, and not attacking up here. So, and also kind of scaling out here, kind of being disciplined, saying, okay, this is my target, and not gonna, on the first part of the trade, yeah, this is, a much more sizable part of the move, but this was kind of your high conviction ticks. I think a pop of those 27s, and then kind of reconsidering how you want to kind of trail your stop and manage your risk once we reacted above here. So if I bring up the ladders here, so as you can see, we're about to have the figure come out. So I'll just press play, and basically I'm just going to run you through the reaction above. Like I said, the 17s, which was my kind of plan was to hit the number on a full, any kind of any full, and then I want to try and get my size away. Get my size way above the 17s, above the 18s. So it's a bit longer then. Yeah, it was a bit delayed. Okay. Right. So yeah, I'm in on the figure here. And like I said, the 17s was kind of that zone which I was really paying attention to, and obviously in the back of my mind, like I said, I was kind of worried, about the auction and how that may interfere with the price action. So I said, like, the high conviction ticks was a break of the 27s. As long as it's like kind of good punch above the previous day's value, I was really kind of convicted. Everything was confirmed my idea in the euro. The euro was getting hit a lot harder than the bund was. And for me, I just wanted to see that, like I say, I want to see the really high volume at this point, and just kind of above these 18s, right? So once we flushed the 27s, and we instantly kind of got hit straight away. This was kind of, this was my cue. That's, like I said, planned. I was wanting to scale out of a clip, and I wanted to leave, a decent amount of size on for the kind of extended move. And this is at the point it was going to do two things at this point. I felt at the 27s it was either going to be kind of, we were going to be trading, significantly higher above here in the next 5 or 10 minutes, or we're going to kind of balance and potentially kind of form a sideways range, which we did, but it was a much further down than I expected. And this was all kind of down to where the price action was for me up here, I felt. And this is where kind of the concept of understanding, okay, so what side of the market is being hit or lifted. So in terms of like the initiative, so obviously at this point we were kind of getting a lot of reloading and a lot of passive buying, but what I want to kind of pay attention to, and we do kind of, we actually retest above this high, but all we're kind of seeing in this area is actually bids being clipped, and we're not actually really seeing any size trading through on lifting the offer. So constantly you're seeing size being clipped down. Yes, it kind of feels like it's high volume, high high pace, like reloading, etc., and all these kind of things which you want to see in like a breakout, especially of an inside day and these type of these kind of things. But it was very significant to me that this was kind of that liquidity. For example, again, these clips going through, hitting bids, and we ran to think, and when you're not seeing these prices trade out, again, we're kind of just seeing it was just skipping and blocking prices. And again, this is like not kind of what I was wanting to see. And my stop here at this point was in a really good place. I felt, above 27s. My risk should have been a lot tighter. My risk should have been a lot tighter than what I managed. But this was the kind of trying to understand. Okay, right, what is the actual interaction above here? And it's just going to have a lot deeper pullback than I expect, especially given that we've broken from so deep. With the background of like the auction going on, how the market is kind of soaking up this liquidity. And at this point in time, it was kind of a lot more. There was just nothing really going for it, and you kind of just see here how dead it is. It was just nothing really trading up here, and it was constantly again. So more every time it's kind of we pause and we kind of stay still above these 27s, we just got clipped. It clipped into the bid, and it was never really moving away from this price. And obviously, this is kind of a good strategy if you're really disciplined in managing your risk and hitting out when it is starting to fade and slow down, because at this point you're kind of taking on, you're exposing yourself to a lot of open P&L risk, as opposed to, which is fine if you're willing to like kind of get out of your risk. But what you're at the end of the day, your kind of gain from here is getting smaller and smaller. I.e., okay, you think this is going to trend higher, you think this should trade out. I think it was the 60s. But you're now kind of opening yourself up to a lot more risk for, you're expecting the move to kind of trend really aggressively from here to 60s right now. Otherwise, you're opening yourself up to a lot of your open P&L risk and kind of a lot of time risk as to, okay, yeah, this could definitely go. But it's going to probably maybe take time, especially at this point when you're getting this type of reaction. Okay, it's still 9 o'clock. This is kind of prime time for the market to potentially be soaking up a lot of liquidity on the offer. And it was just, everything that at this point was just not, there was no interaction above here, and this was that kind of more initiative type of liquidity, I suppose, pre-auction, especially after we've broken really from deep, tested above these highs, and then, like I say, there was never at any point kind of initiative any further from when we had that kind of reaction from above value and on the figure. And yeah, like I say, this is kind of a common thing, which is, I'm pretty bad at doing it sometimes, but it's just, you see yourself, you're on side quite nicely, and you feel comfortable, and you go, this is breaking the technical area, it should continue. And I just always kind of trying to be thinking, like, what kind of interaction is, am I expecting, and then what kind of interaction, what interaction do I want to see, and then like what am I expecting, i.e. is it a certain day type where you might see type of price action, is it a certain an event, or these different types of things which you can kind of lean on. And when you're not seeing these things, or when the things are starting to slow down and not confirm your ideas, it's when you kind of have to be, you have to actually say, I'm going to kind of give up my 5 ticks, whatever it may be that it's come off from. But it's a lot better than saying, let it come all the way back. I think it came back down to 15s, and it's also, like I say, it's the time to get, like the kind of time risk that you're kind of taking on. So that was kind of really the principle of what I wanted to show, but on the ladder. But this is, like I say, we spent, which is nothing. If this was your trade all along, we spent we spent nearly an hour, I think, sitting in here before kind of breaking up, and this kind of really shows the idea that I had in my mind, which was quite clear, and kind of actually ended up paying out. I.e., there was this massive kind of there was quite an aggressive seller up here initially, and then it kind of then turned into a lot more passive, and in this kind of range there was a huge amount of buying, but it was constantly being soaked up. And once this kind of this passive offer was finished, we then kind of ground up, and this is the type of move that you kind of tend to see after a huge amount of absorption. It's kind of all spent its time. The position has kind of built itself here for the whole day, and then it's kind of unraveling, as opposed to kind of aggressive breakout. But yeah, this was kind of just what I was really looking at, and this also just comes from having been really aggressive at these highs. It could have been really easy, if you felt like, you maybe missed a bit on the number, or you were slow, or whatever it may have been, and you think, okay, well, I can still hit the 27s, I can still hit these different. Yeah, it makes sense. But it was just this. It's just really important to kind of know, okay, right, what type of reaction is going to be going on up here, and what we're actually seeing. Okay, we've broken from here, from quite deep, traded up here, and then all of a sudden it just kind of stalled, and we just started to get this kind of quite consistent, hitting of the bid. And it was never, it was just more the fact that there was nothing lifting the offer, which I felt was just really important. Like that principle alone. Okay, yeah, it may not necessarily mean like, distinctly bigger clips or whatever it may. It was just more the kind of relentlessness of the bid being hit in an area where you think, okay, right, this is an inside day rate, really powerful kind of setup. Okay, gapped up, all these different things. It should really not be, there should be nothing but buying and kind of high volume kind of trade. And the thing, it kind of deceive you with that big 5-minute candle of high volume, but then it just kind of died, and the auction was kind of, it was still at a reasonably good pace, but like I say, it was kind of just reloading, as it was being clipped at the bid. It wasn't really kind of like reloading it and hitting up, as we kind of saw in the 17s area. It was really high volume reloading and hitting up. Those clips going through the offer, in the fight on the other side up here around the 27s, it wasn't that at all. It was reloading and slowing down and then just being hit. And this is what we did. Like I said, we kind of spent a lot of time balancing, and then we kind of got this grinding full body candle to finish the day. But